Shalom, more praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honors to the Apostle GMS. This is Amnawa Allah coming at you in this video. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on the book of St. John, chapter 9, verse 32. But I'm going to read up a little bit to give some more insight. So let's start from 9 and 1. St. John 9 and 1. And as Yahweh Shah passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Now, I did something like this. I touched on this a few weeks ago. Probably it was last week, maybe the week before last. But I'm going to go to a little different now. So they asked Yahweh Shah, the disciples, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind, showing that the disciples understood the concept of reincarnation. Because how could he have sinned if he was born this way? I mean, if he was born this way, how could he have sinned that would make him be born that way? You know, it wouldn't make any sense unless it was reincarnation. So Yahweh Shah answered, neither had this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of the Most High should be made manifest in him. So it wasn't a sin that caused him to be born this way. It was for the sole purpose of the works of Yahweh Shemel Shah would be manifested in this man, and he would be healed. So I'm gonna jump down a little bit. I went into the clay. So I'm gonna go down. Jump down, let's see. I'll start from verse 6. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made the clay of spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which by interpretation sent. He went his way therefore and washed and came seeing. I'm not going to break that down again about the clay, because I did it in the previous lesson, so y'all could just look on the page and scroll down and you'll see it. And said unto him, I read that. The neighbors therefore, and they which were, because in that lesson I went into the significance, of the clay and why it was used. The neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged? Some said this is he. Others said he is like him, but he said, I am he. Some said, was this that guy that was begging? Some said it was him. Some said he is like him. In other words, he looked like him, or he seems like him. But he said, no, I am he. I'm that person you're talking about. Therefore said they unto him, how are thy eyes open? How can you see now? He answered and said, a man that is called Yahweh Shah made clay and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. He said, I don't know where he at. They brought to the Pharisees him that was aforetime blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Yahweh Shah made the clay and opened his eyes. Then said the Pharisees also, then again the Pharisees also asked him, so they asked him too, how he had received his sight. He said unto them, He put clay upon mine eyes, and I washed and do see. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, This man is not of the Most High, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, How can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. So you had Pharisees saying he was a sinner because he didn't keep the Sabbath day. He did a work on the Sabbath. In other words, if this is true, he's a sinner because he did a work on the Sabbath by healing this man. But some saying, well, if he's a sinner, I mean, if he's a sinner, how can he do this miracle? So there was division among the Pharisees because one portion was saying this thing, another portion was saying another thing. They say unto the blind man, again, what sayest thou of him that he hath opened thine eyes? He said, he is a prophet. He said, this guy's a prophet. The Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind and received his sight until they called the parents of him that received his sight. So they didn't believe him. They said, well, go get this guy's parents, man. And they asked them saying, is this your son, who ye say was born blind? How then doeth he not see? His parents answered them and said, we know that this is our son and that he was born blind. But by what means he not seeth, we know not. Or who opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age, ask him. He shall speak for himself. He don't know. I mean, ask him. He's of age. He's an adult. He can speak for himself. These words spake his parents because they feared the Jews. So they didn't want to just straight up say, it was who their son was talking about, because they was afraid what the Jews was going to say. So they want to say, this guy, Jesus did it. Or in other words, Yahweh Shah. The scripture say, the word says Jesus, of course, as we reading the scripture. But we know his name was Yahweh Shah in Hebrew. They didn't want to say that because they was afraid of the Jews. Remember, the Jews didn't believe him. And it said, for the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was the anointed, he should be put out of the synagogue. So they didn't want to put us out of the synagogue. They didn't want to say it was Yahushua, who is the anointed, the Messiah, did this. Therefore said his parents, he is of age, ask him. Then again called they the man that was blind and said unto him, give the Most High praise. You know that this man is a sinner. Give the Most High praise. This guy that just said healed you, he's a sinner. So give it to the praises to the Most High that you can see now. Don't say that it was this man that healed you. He's a sinner. He answered and said, whether he be a sinner or not, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. I was once blind, now I see. Then said they to him again, what did he do to thee? How opened he thine eyes? He answered them, I have told you already. And ye did not hear. I told you wasn't listening. Wherefore would ye hear it again? Will you also be his disciples? Are you going to be his disciples? If I told you how he did it, are you going to believe that this man did his miracle, and are you going to follow him? Then they reviled him and started, speaking against him, condemning him, and said, thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciple. You his disciple, but we Moses' disciple. And see that right there? That's symbolic if you think about it. They're Moses' disciples, implying that what? They're just, in their mind, they're justified by the law. But when he's saying that, when they're saying to this man that he is that man's disciple, that shows you what? He's justified through faith. So that right there showed you a difference between the believers in Yahushua through faith and the separation between those who felt that they was justified by the law of Moses and those who were justified through faith in Yahushua. And that shows you the schism right there. And that still exists to this day. Don't they call us faithful Israelites, the IUIC, Nate and those guys? And that was an example of things that happened, in the Gospels and in the Acts of the Apostles, and was written in the epistles. That division between those who see justified by the works of the law and those who see justified through faith. I kind of read a little too much into the chapter, but it's only 7 minutes in, so I can keep going. It says, we know that the Most High spake unto Moses. As for this fellow, we know not from whence he was. We don't know this guy. We know the Most High spake to Moses, but we don't know this guy right here. Then the man answered and said unto them, why herein is a marvelous thing that ye know not from whence he is, and yet he hath opened mine eyes. Now we know that the Most High, he said, this is a marvelous thing. You don't know where he's from, yet he opened mine eyes. Now we know that the Most High heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of the Most High and doeth his will, him he heareth. So the Most High don't hear sinners. But if you worship the Most High and do his will, the Most High is going to hear you. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? And that's the truth. There's no Old Testament account of somebody being healed of their sight, being healed of blindness and being given their sight. There's no such scripture. All right. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? If this man were not of the Most High, he could do nothing. If he wasn't of the Most High, he couldn't do anything. Let's get a scripture on it. St. John 3:1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Yahushua by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High. For no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except the Most High be with him. See? So right there, Nicodemus is acknowledging that he's a teacher of the Most High. And that he called him a rabbi, master, a teacher. He said nobody could do these miracles except the Most High be with him. What miracles? Now you go to the previous chapter. See, this thing is this page is loading up slow, as you can see, and my phone is about to die. That's Satan right there. This is St. John chapter 2 verse 23. Now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover, the previous chapter, in the feast day, many believed in his name when they saw the miracles which he did. Now, I don't tell us what miracles he was doing, but it's just telling you that they believed in his name because of his miracles. See? Back in St. John 9:34, last verse. They answered and said unto him, Thou wast altogether born in sins, and doest thou teach us? And they cast him out. So they wanted to cast him out of the synagogue because he gave glory to Yahushua for healing him. He said that If this man was not of the Most High, he could do nothing. So he's acknowledging the Most High, and he's acknowledging that this man is of the Most High. That's why he could do such a great miracle. And then they said, thou was altogether born in sins, and doest thou teach us? And they cast him out. So they're saying, you was born blind because you was wicked. You born blind because you was a sinner. And you going to teach us? And they cast him out. So what they started doing, they started using an ad hominem attack. When they couldn't use the scripture, when they couldn't use the spirit to discern and admit that this man, Yahushua, is of the Most High, that's why he was able to do this miracle. What did they do? They started attacking him personally. See? Nobody had healed anybody's eyesight before then, through surgery or anything. You know? Last thing, ad hominem. An argument or reaction directed against a person rather than position they are maintaining. They couldn't deal with him through the spirit, so they had to attack him, saying he was wicked. So with that, I'm going to close. I'm saying, oh, praise Yahweh Shah, double on T-Pasu GMS. Hope brothers listen, shalom. Phone about to die.